A warning before the episode starts, just in case some people missed the expletive notice in the description of the episode. This episode contains language that some may find offensive and views that listeners might disagree with. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hey, it's Gil from the Mind Podcast. Today's mind culture and social podcast. And you're listening to Pods Like Us.
Hello and welcome to Pods Like Us. I'm Martin Quibell, known to my friends as Marv, and this time I am speaking with Ricky, Jose and Marcus from the Inner Monolog. Hey guys, thanks for speaking to me.
Oh, it's good.
Gil says I've got to be on my toes because of you guys.
Well, Gil's been with us twice, so he knows.
Speaking of, I'm going on his show later on today.
That's dope.
You're wearing a Giants outfit for that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because you know he's a Dodger fan.
You'll be the last one then, because the other three have been on already, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Julio couldn't be with us today. He says he might turn up, but doubtful.
I don't think that's that much of a loss.
My dad said he might turn up at some point, but that's been doubtful for like 20 years.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
So, how long have you guys known each other?
I've known them since my sophomore year in high school.
Okay. So,
And
they've known each other
has-
since elementary school.
Yeah, Jose has unfortunately known me since grade school.
so are you guys like, you know, a team from the off then, as soon as you met each other in school?
Actually, when me and Ricky first met, we got into a fight in the parking lot of the mall. I forgot exactly what that fight was about, but god damn it, we had respect after that fight since.
It's kind of what happens when two alpha male meet. You gotta fight.
Godzilla versus Kong.
80s films.
Is that what you told your parents after the Travis situation?
Pretty much.
Shit, Travis really tried to be the white knight that day.
It's like one of those 80s films where they beat each other up and then they become good friends from then onwards because they have respect for each other.
Yeah.
That's all we were missing was the montage music in the background.
That's it. And Phoebe Cates in the background.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, how were you all introduced to podcasting in the first place then?
Well, we were
Marcus.
trying to come up with an idea for a business or whatever the hell. but we couldn't really come up with nothing. So I suggested we all do a podcast, build a following, and then branch off from that.
Once it really started to grind your gears.
So is it just natural then? The show is basically you guys being your natural selves, talking about shit that you'd normally talk about.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly.
It's basically like us
all it
being
is.
at a bar, just going through the week.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll even mention what snacks you're eating to each other in the show.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm notorious for having dinner while we're recording.
Except that one time you had to leave for tacos.
That time. But there's been plenty of times where they've brought in like 4 slices of pizza for me in the middle of recording.
Just like, hey guys, snack time.
We don't mind at all.
No. Do you ever record live, the 4 of you together in the same place?
Oh no, we haven't, because I live in Texas and they live in California.
All right. Okay.
But we have
That's
gone live on one of our conspiracy theory episodes.
Cool.
Yeah, and once you like lived in California and then you leave California, you're not allowed back. So we would have to go to him.
I've been
So-
excommunicado.
So how did you get the show off the ground then? How did it get started?
Marcus
So-
did that.
Yeah, pretty much. I set up all the social media and just started posting the episodes weekly. And then
But
eventually
I-
we started delegating who would run what, and now we're here.
But it all got off the ground because Marcus was interested in starting the podcast. So he was doing his own thing and we were all listening. And eventually he came up with the idea of like, hey, what if we just all did this together? And we kind of agreed that it sounds fun and we were all gonna do it until it was no longer fun to one of us. But we're well into the season 2 and still fun.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
tell that
it-
it's fun because you can hear you all laughing all the time, and it sounds natural.
Either
Thank you.
laughing or me and Julio freaking yelling at each other all the time.
Yeah, sounding like the 2 old guys in the balcony on the Muppet Show.
Yep.
And we're pretty much 5 weeks away from the year 1 mark.
Is
about,
that where we're
yeah.
at? Wait,
I'm-
it's only
I'm
been a
about-
year?
Yeah, I'm about the same. My
Mhm.
my year is 2 weeks. 2 weeks time, I'll be up on the year.
Oh wow, yeah. Looks like we started podcasting around the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people. I think Gil started around the same time as well with Mind Buzz.
Oh, man, we should have just told Gil to jump on for
He could have been a stand-in for Julio.
Most of our guests could be a decent stand-in for Julio.
I think
it,
Gil's
it
still
does
awake.
work
Actually.
the other way around though.
God damn.
So. Oh dear! Wake up, Martin. So you have a set structure to the show then. So you start off with the general catch up with each other, and then if you have any guests, you sort of introduce them, and then it's basically made up of stories that you find and these great jokes that Marcus has for the most part.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, we usually go off on our own throughout the week, and we have a group chat where we bounce stories off of each other that make their absolute lunacy. One, either because it's just crazy in the sense that I can't believe this kind of shit happens,
Yeah.
or 2, I can't believe this shit is news.
No.
Just depends on the news week that week.
like the woman who got stuck in between the 2 buildings.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I still don't know how she got it in between those buildings.
I think she
Yeah.
rolled off in her sleep. I really do.
That's a long way down.
And naked at the same time.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know 2 buildings were that damn close anymore.
No.
Like usually there's a decent gap.
That must have been South America because they're normally sort of close together. Some of those buildings aren't they, in some places.
Maybe.
You would think, but
Guess
that
so.
was in Los Angeles, I think.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, Gil's neck of the woods.
Yeah,
Yep.
a few blocks from Gil, probably.
Do that.
Gil's
Just trying
probably
to
got
sneak into Gil's
photos.
studio.
Trying to go to
Oh.
the Mind Buzz Studios.
Only time I heard of someone getting stuck in between a building is on a TV show.
For real.
You actually see it happen. You're like, wait, this shit actually happens?
Well, Looney Tunes cartoon.
There you go.
Where's Wile E. Coyote when you need him?
Fair.
Mhm.
That's fair.
So it is actually a mix of all of you. You all come up with the stories then.
Yes.
Yep. And then we vote on them. So once we have enough stuff on our script that we vote on which stories we want to keep, because usually we end up with like 12, 13 stories.
And we'll condense them down to like 8 or 9. Well, 6 to 9.
And am I right that Marcus sort of like does the introducing of the sections all of the time? He always brings. So when you've all agreed on what news items you're going to look at or what things you're going to look at and subjects, is it sort of always led by Marcus bringing them in and writing the outline for the show?
The
For
script,
the most
yeah.
part, this season has.
Yeah, I do the script. I pull the video, do the thumbnails, do all that. And then each week we each host the show. So this week it's going to be Jose's turn.
Right.
Hi, this is Katie at Bad Counsel with some good counsel. You should keep listening to Marv at Pods Like Us.
So how do you arrange the guests then? Because that happens occasionally, and how do you work out when you're going to have the guest as well? Is it, because sometimes you do have guests and sometimes you don't. How do you work that out?
Yeah, I mean, so season 1, for the most part, we only had 2 guests, kind of near the end of that season. For
Yeah.
season 2, we just had a lot of people reach out to us on Instagram or email, just wanting to kind of be on the show. And ideally, we wanted to do kind of every other week have a guest, but sometimes we just have like back to back weeks with guests. Most of that is just coordinated through Instagram messages. Picking the day and time that works, and it's if they're a podcast, it's just kind of like the same script we follow, so they'll get the articles to kind of go over beforehand and be prepared. But when we have a more higher profile kind of guests, like a pro boxer, or recently like the sexologist we had on, we usually do a Q&A session right before.
Have you had any guests? This is going to sound awful. You probably can't do this. Have you had any guests that have stood out to you, or any shows that have stood out so far?
Quite a few, actually.
Yep.
Yeah,
Quite a few. Especially
Yeah,
these last 5-6 weeks, give or take.
Yeah, I think all our guests recently have kind of brought something different to the table, which is good, because I think as Ricky mentioned, like we're podcasting until it's no longer fun, and bringing in kind of someone with a different point of view or different expertise, keeps it interesting for us.
Yeah. I would say it's they've all been interesting in their own way. It's just been more interesting for me at least when before we even start recording, we let everybody know, like, hey, just be yourself. There's no judgment here. Relax, pretend the camera's not there. And some people just are really like tight, like very tight-lipped, very strategic about what they say, and then there's other people who
Let
just
loose.
realize that we don't care what we say, and they just let loose
But of
with
course,
us.
we got to demonstrate that for them. Otherwise, they think it's like a gotcha moment. And we don't censor on the show, really.
No.
Just everybody's free to say what they want to say, how they feel about any situation. There is that warning that you might get some hate mail, but eventually we all do.
Yeah. But that's just you guys being natural. It comes across that way, you know, as the show. That's how it should be, really. That's why it works. Because if you did censor it and you were choosy about what you talk about or the words that you do use, it wouldn't sound natural. It wouldn't have that flow that you have from the natural conversation that you're having.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a guest on our show like 3 weeks ago, I want to say. And it's rare to kind of have someone that actually listens to our podcast actually be a guest as well. So we took the opportunity to ask, like, what does he enjoy of the podcast? And he said it was the banter, you know, kind of how natural it comes across, and you know how welcoming we are. We make basically the listeners feel like they're an old-time friend with us.
Yeah, I mean, I think the shows that I listen to, the ones that I like the most when there's more than one person, are the ones where you can tell that outside of that show, they are friends and they do have that sort of rapport with each other. Whereas sometimes, or a lot of the time, when you listen to shows where you can almost tell shows where you listen to them and you know damn well that they have nothing to do with each other outside of that show, like some of these, you know, shows that are, you know, the more, you know, the ones that are professionally, yeah, professional shows, like, you know, if you listen to some of these baseball shows, you know that there's actually, they have nothing to do with each other. The leads on those don't, so there's not that rapport. It's almost like it's forced with some of those shows, and you can tell.
Yeah, and they got to spend time like working through the chemistry in order to get that natural feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's one of those situations. This has been a lot of fun, and I couldn't see myself doing a podcast with somebody I've never hung out with outside of doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even doing like a solo podcast. Like we've been on kind of guests for some shows that are just solo podcasters, and much props to them because that's also a heavy lift.
Oh yeah. What do you bounce things off of? I mean, I guess I could face the camera to that mirror back there.
Yeah.
Just talk to myself.
Like, that shit was crazy, Rick.
What do you
Thank
think?
you, Rick.
Just time out.
Great joke, Rick.
You're the best, Rick.
Just 40 minutes of me complimenting myself.
I want that show.
I mean, yeah, I was like, I may actually listen to that.
You could do that actually as a joke. You could have it like just record that, Ricky, and then they can throw it on the tail end of one of the Inner Monolog shows. Have 5 minutes of you talking to yourself in the mirror.
5 minutes of me. Now let's go out to Rick for the weather. It's raining.
It's raining, bitch.
I like that idea now. Now we cut to Rick. Rick, how's the weather looking? Pretty fucked up, Marcus.
Yeah. I mean, man, talk about a literal inner monologue.
Right.
Oh, dear me. So how do you edit the show then? Who does the editing and how do you do it?
Me,
How do you record it?
So we record it using Skype, and then through Skype I can play all the videos and whatnot that we have for the show. So once I'm done with that, I usually add the intro, the outro, the thumbnails for each of the articles, and that's usually it. Takes me about 30 to 45 minutes, give or take.
Yep.
And then I'll post it on YouTube and Anchor. Let these guys know that it's posted, and they'll do their social media posts to let people know to come watch.
So how do you
Yeah,
edit it then? Do you just leave it natural? Do you what editing do you do, if any?
Other than just I used to have to cut different pieces out in order to insert the clips, but now that I'm able to actually just play the clips, at most it's just add the intro and the outro on the front end, the beginning and the ending of the episode, and then put the thumbnails right around the time we actually mention the title of each article, and that's pretty much all the editing I do now.
So is that changed, or have you been like that from day one?
No. It used to take me 2, almost 3 hours to edit each episode when we first started.
So have you found then that the longer you've gone on it's a bit like me where with my show, I do minimal editing now, whereas when I started, I used to do ridiculous amount of editing looking back. So are you the same then? Have you sort of like almost relaxed it and because
Well, pretty much. So I actually went to school for pretty much stuff like this.
Yep.
So for me, editing is easy as hell. It's just trying to get everything set the way we need it, because most of the time, like when we first started, I think I just posted the raw footage, the first episode.
Yep.
Start to finish. And then
Marcus is a digital artist.
yeah, pretty much. So once we started introducing videos, and I wanted to make sure people could see like the thumbnails, added, the websites and the description and all that. My editing, like it changed dramatically from how long it used to take in the beginning to now, where it's just like, all right, guys, I'm done. Done to post it now.
yeah, because I know listening back to some of my old ones, I sort of realised that it didn't sound natural in a way that I'd over edited, and you can tell. Whereas now, because I don't do that, there's a natural flow now to the conversation. Whereas beforehand, when I was doing the editing, it didn't feel natural. It was more like a question, answer, and you get rid of the ums, you get rid of the ahs, you get rid of all this, that, and the other. And because you're getting rid of the pauses and things like that, it doesn't sound natural. It sounds almost robotic in a way.
Right.
Yeah, just
Right.
cut and paste.
Yeah.
I think one way to avoid that, at least for us, and I try to do it, it doesn't always work, is simply keep in mind what the next thing is going to be. So when the conversation starts to slow down, you just kind of flow into it as opposed to having to look at your script. But I still do it, sometimes I still have to be like, okay, so while they're bouncing off about something to try to go. But it's something that definitely over time you learn to naturally progress from one thing to the next. But I think like you're saying, the ums and the short pauses there, they kind of give the listener a chance to take a breath and absorb what it was that you were talking about, just the same way that if you were hanging out with this person at a bar or just at their house or something, because nobody naturally goes from one topic to the next. Even when you're having a conversation with somebody, there's always that or that slight pause of what the hell are we going to talk about next.
Especially with us too, because we're notorious for going on tangents. Like we'll start with one topic and then we'll segue to a different topic, and then that topic goes into something else. We actually had a guest on our podcast, Liz from You Should Have Ghosted, and she's like, oh my god, the tangent. She was like dying and laughing. But as much fun as those tangents are, like Rick mentioned, we're also trying to be conscious of time. We're trying to have the podcast be about an hour, no more than 90 minutes. So even if the conversation is getting good, we gotta be like, all right guys, back on track. Next article.
Can't keep going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, because trust me, we can keep going.
But that's what you do naturally anyway. When you talk with your buds, you will do that anyway. You'll start on one thing and then you'll go somewhere else, and eventually you'll get back to what you were talking about originally.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be talking about baseball or football, and then suddenly go off talking about what snacks you ate, and then that will lead to what drinks you had with the snacks, and then you'll go, well, when I did that, last time I had that drink, blah blah blah, and you go on to the subject that's somewhere else, and eventually you'll go, yeah, but what about in game?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Come right back around. Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about the game.
We were definitely.
Those were the drinks and snacks I was having during the game.
What's up, everybody? This is Chris from the podcast Real Film Reviewed, and you're listening to Marv on Pods Like Us.
Do you watch any American sports overseas?
I am a fan of baseball.
Okay. Are you a Dodger fan too?
I'll leave this subject. I opened the subject and now it's closing. There's a few teams that I watch. I've watched the Yankees. I don't really know what to think about them. They've got some good players in recently.
They're basically the Real Madrid of baseball.
Yes, yeah, I've worked that out. Yeah,
Okay.
good call.
Marv, how big is boxing in the UK?
I think it's a big thing. Yeah.
Because I know yesterday, so this
Anthony
Saturday,
Joshua.
it was like the Anthony Joshua versus Usyk fight, which was freaking awesome. And I think it was held at an outdoor stadium that normally seats like 70,000. That was like packed to the brim. And then you got the Sweet Caroline song that always plays before the boxing match. It was electric. So I was just curious to see if it was like just because of Joshua or just normally like the UK gets behind boxing.
You know what's sweet about the cats in them hands?
Why did you choose that
Damn
song?
it. Dude, tell me why Sweet Caroline's become a thing on friggin' TikTok now.
Oh man.
Because TikTok wants to trend everything because millennials and Gen Zers can't come up with their own original stuff, so they want to take stuff from boomers and other generations and claim that it's theirs.
Didn't we do that with MySpace?
Everything comes
Yeah,
back.
but we did. But then Facebook came out, and we just let the boomers have that.
The point.
Yeah, like all right, that's better. That's an improvement. You guys
Bye,
can have it.
guys.
Wonder if my MySpace account still exists. I've not been on there
I know
for
mine
years.
doesn't. I torpedoed it.
It's evolved. MySpace has evolved from being a social media platform like Facebook to like a music media platform.
That's when like Justin Timberlake took it over, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It more
Trying to
it
bring
evolved,
it back.
it evolved more towards what OnlyFans wanted to be.
But who the hell goes on there now?
Nobody I know.
No.
Nah. I haven't been on there since you copied and pasted fucking code to get the background to change.
Yeah, I had the Matrix.
Oh god, I fucking hated that shit.
I had to write that fucking code, dude.
That's crazy. Right? Best.
No, because to get it to cascade properly and not glitch, I had to write the damn code, which means I had to learn programming just for that specific purpose, and then I fucking forgot it.
Marcus, do you have the glitter background here in MySpace?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Animate the glitters.
I didn't know how to
Well-
get rid of it. God damn it!
I had the falling hearts.
Oh man, back when I had that MySpace, I did something for the San Francisco Giants. So I did kind of like the past, the present, and the future, and I had to pick the ideal Giants player for each category. So in the past, I had like Barry Bonds. The present, I had Buster Posey, and for the future, I got so wrong. I had Angel Villalona as the future Giant superstar. My bad.
Well, in your defense, everyone thought he was gonna be something.
Yeah, because he had crazy power, but didn't work out.
So you were saying that you watch a couple of teams, the Yankees being one of them. What were
Yep.
the other teams? And
Baltimore.
it's okay if you don't.
Yeah,
It's all
Baltimore
right if you don't say the
Orioles.
Giants.
Orioles.
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 I'll watch those.
Okay.
'Cause- Yeah. And who else?
It's always nice to watch an underdog.
Yep. I think all the teams I'm watching are underdogs, and the Red Sox probably.
Those are good teams. East Coast teams. I could see that simply because you'd get the games at a decent time over there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, they're at the middle of the night, which probably like midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning or something. But
Yeah, you'd probably have to get up at like, what time is it there now?
2:45 in the afternoon.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, you'd probably get like a 5 a.m., 4 a.m. game if you were watching the Giants play. Because they used to play at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
over here.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
man,
I was
when
over
there's
there, I
when
only
there's
had-
games over there in LA and that area, they are they are the mid morning or
Yeah.
they'll be like 3:00 in the morning. Those games will sometimes 5:00 in the morning. Some of those. I might edit this out and say that I used Tim from Bad Counsel's account on MLB.
Hey, sharing is caring.
We were doing a show where I was talking with them, and Tim says to me, he said, "Talk to me after the show."
Nice.
And then
Nice.
he shared his account details. So there you go. Cool guy.
That's awesome.
We do that too. The Zone, Disney Plus.
All those services, you've got to get them somehow, haven't you?
That's why it's
Hey,
good to have
sharing is
friends.
caring.
We each pay for one.
Yeah. It bounces out.
Hey, shit. If there's a show anybody wants to watch, you gotta have a nice close knit group of friends. I mean, shit. Families
But
do
you
it all the
gotta
time.
have friends.
Okay, going completely off topic then, are there any shows that you all do watch and then you chat with each other about?
So
Rick
we
and
did
Morty?
The Mandalorian, Rick and Morty.
Oh, that's
The
awesome.
Mandalorian.
Um,
Loki.
Oh yeah, Loki.
Loki.
Loki was good. I think
Many
that's
of the
about it.
movies. It's like me and Jose, we'll talk about anime and whatnot every now and again.
You guys watch Shang-Chi?
Not yet.
Not yet. Nope.
I'm waiting until the first, because that's when
Or do you wait
Wait,
till the
home-
second version of it comes out so you don't have to
no
worry about the
another
glitches?
another Marvel movie comes out, and I'm gonna go see that and Shang-Chi at the same time.
Is
The next one's Spider-Man.
Is it Let There Be Carnage?
Next one's Eternals,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, Let There Be
Oh.
Carnage comes out October 1st, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
and
go
then-
see
then
Shang-Chi
Eternal?
and Let There Be Carnage.
Shang-Chi's got some awesome fight scenes in it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's I know that one of the guys that was the fight coordinator was also on Jackie Chan's team for his movies.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
you could see a lot of that because there's a lot of fight scenes where the main character uses the environment around him the same way Jackie Chan did in a lot of his movies in the early 2000s. You know, like sitting on the chair and then kicking the chair to tip over so that he could get to his next victim and stuff like that.
Well, the guy who did the fight choreography for Crouching Tiger, he plays one of the characters in Shang-Chi.
Yep.
He's the old
Okay.
guy.
Funny, I didn't know Bruce Lee was behind Jackie Chan's start
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was
Enter the
part of
Dragon.
the
because he
Yeah.
whacked him on the head with the damn nunchucks and he felt so bad.
Enter the Dragon, one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I can only imagine how many movies Bruce Lee would have been in had he not died
Yeah,
by now.
definitely. Spitch, what happened to him with the series Kung Fu as well? Because that was supposed to be his series, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Speaking of tangents.
Go on. Oh, right. I thought you were going off on one then.
That was a nice stroll.
Yeah, Ricky.
We done gone off on one ourselves right now.
I saw it coming.
So, show music and logo then. So, the logo, where did that come from?
All of us.
All of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus pitched the main logo and then we all kind of tweaked it a bit ourselves.
And
sent it
Ricky
back
was
and
pretty
forth.
much the one who came up with the name.
Well, at least it looks better than the logo that I've done for you guys.
You did a logo for us.
Is it just Marcus that's seen that? Let's have a look.
Is it just you, Marcus? You the
No,
one
I'm
that's
fine.
seen it?
Let's have a look. See if this works.
Damn.
There
Yo,
you go.
I think we could put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, that works.
That definitely could be like some merchandise.
That's my attempt at doing your logo.
And that guy on the far left with the beanie, is that Julio? And is that his penis?
Damn it, Ricky.
And
Listen, the coffee's kicking in. I'm waking
that
up.
story that I liked the other week as well. Where is it? There you go. What's that? She-Hulk versus the Bus.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was
God, so
a good
many
one.
people are asking what in the She-Hulk's blood happened that day. Did she just summon all the power of Thor?
That was awesome when one of you called a She-Hulk. I thought that was brilliant.
If it.
Like, damn, how strong are you? Then she took off running.
That watching her run was the most enjoyable thing I've seen in a long time. It looked like a toddler trying to get going, learning how to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At that point, I was like, I could just walk and still catch you.
It's funny you mentioned like taller because that's almost what it seems like. Like she had like a taller tantrum,
Yeah.
broke something, and that's like, oh
shit.
no.
And ran away.
But yeah, how could she have missed the bus? Like you said, if she was actually in front of the bus and hit the windscreen.
Oh no, she didn't miss the bus.
Oh no, she was thrown off it.
She was on the bus.
She was
Got
thrown
into
off
an
the
argument
bus.
with someone
Yep.
on the bus and got kicked off. Then
Yep.
demanded the person she was arguing with to get off the bus.
So like, not after that punch, I'm good.
For what? I seen what you did to the whole damn bus.
Yeah.
He was like, why would
Sit
I
right
willingly
here.
walk right into that ass whooping?
She's like, catch me outside. No, thank you, ma'am. We're upstairs.
Although the way she was throwing them windmills, that person probably could have like slowly walked out of the way of the punch.
That's true. That's true. Any decent reflexes and you're good.
Hey, it's the boys from Soft Spoken, and we are so glad that you are listening to our new friend Marv and his podcast, Pods Like Us.
Yeah, we were recently on the show for a couple of episodes and we really enjoyed it. And if you'd like to catch a little bit more of us with all the raunchiness and sauce-based humor that you're used to, feel free to check us out on our show. But in the meantime, keep enjoying Pods Like Us with Marv.
We enjoyed talking with Marv as much as we hope you enjoy listening to him.
Now back to the show.
Yeah, speaking of tangents, here's another one. Did anybody watch that video of the press conference between Caleb Plant and Canelo, where Caleb Plant takes the sucker punch at him, and then he has to eat a 2-piece?
Yes.
Yes, I watched that probably like at least 10 times.
Have a wing and a thigh.
Have you seen that, Martin?
No, I've not seen that one. No.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've heard, but Caleb Plant from Tennessee is supposed to fight Canelo
Okay.
Alvarez.
Yeah.
And they had their first press conference, and I guess they were talking a lot of mess to each other. And when they got face to face, Canelo pushes him, and Caleb Plant slowly walks back and tries to sucker punch him. Well, not sucker punch because they were facing each other, but he tries to slap him. And Canelo moved his head to the side. He gets grazed, but then comes back and gives him a 2-piece slap.
And makes him bleed. Makes him bleed from that 2-piece.
He pushed his glasses up against his face and cut him up a little bit. Not enough to cancel the fight, but still. I'm wondering if that was enough for Caleb Plant to realize the speed of Canelo and be like, holy shit, this is some next level stuff.
Perhaps he's testing him so that he knows what he's fighting against.
It's like, was that the Matrix?
He looked at him like Kevin Hart's dad did, and he was like, hey, did he just punch me? Yeah, Dad, twice.
Nobody's jumping me.
Sorry about the tangent. Had to ask.
They're gonna learn.
Apparently, the woman who plays the sister in Shang-Chi, she really did hit Simu Liu a few times.
Oh.
Really, while they were doing fight sequences, because she's never done fight sequences before.
Oh, wow.
Talking about Aquafina, right?
No, Aquafina plays the friend, and the sister, I can't
okay.
remember who plays the sister. But yeah, the person playing the sister kept
every
hitting
time you
by
guys say
accident.
Aquafina, I think about the water.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who names that kid then?
Is that a real name?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I think it's a stage name.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a
Her
stage name.
stage name is
I hope so.
Aquafina.
Why would you
Well,
pick
shit.
that name?
Remember, it was Cisco's name was Cisco.
Yeah, but he had the thong song, so he's allowed to name himself anything he wants.
That's right. People are going to be singing that song in 50 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm gonna sing that song at my wedding. It's gonna be my karaoke song.
He's the Beatles of
I
today.
knew it.
My wife's
the
entire
first
family.
dance.
Yeah, my wife's entire family's gonna be there. I'm gonna be like, I love the way that booty goes.
Oh man.
Wasn't that Roger's fucking wedding on American Dad?
That's gonna be so scandalous.
Dude, just saying. I don't think they can handle this.
So what was I going to say? I've been. Somebody sent me some news items. Like, what is it? This one. In August 2019, Gary Samuel Lamb broke into a commercial property in Toronto. Not exactly discreet. Midway through the break and enter, the 54-year-old stopped to eat some food, left scraps behind. Then he left an even bigger clue when he headed to the office printer, placed his face under the photocopier, and took photocopies of himself and left them behind so that the police could identify him through the photocopy of his face that he'd left behind.
This guy was clearly drunk, right? He had to have been drunk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had to
That's
think that, or there was someone in prison he was trying to get after.
That's true. It's all
You
part of
killed
his
my dog.
diabolical plan. It's all part of his diabolical plan.
They're gonna put me in the same jail, and then I'm gonna get him.
It reminds me of that story. I read the autobiography of Ozzy Osbourne, and he was saying before he was in Black Sabbath and in the band, he got arrested because he went to go and break into a place and there were no lights, so he didn't know where he was. And he only had gloves on that were like those fingerless gloves. And he broke into this property where it was pitch black and got back home with what he thought were these really good quality clothes. And he found out that when he opened his bag, he got all these children's clothes, and the police appeared about the next morning to arrest him because he'd left his fingerprints through using the fingerless gloves.
That's some Ozzy Osbourne shit right there.
It is, yeah.
That's
Is that why he started biting the heads off of beds?
No, I think that had to do with the drugs.
Drugs and alcohol, sure.
Yep.
Jesus. Oh, that shit was funny. Fingerless gloves.
Dude, fingerless gloves.
Fingerless gloves. Why? What's the point?
Even OJ didn't make that mistake.
I guess when just your palms are cold.
My fingers don't get cold.
Just my palms.
It's a rare condition.
There's all these other items that I've got. I'm not used to this. You're pulling me out my thing. I don't normally do this sort of stuff. What's this one?
Like where were we?
That sounds like most first dates. I don't normally do this on the first date.
Right, let's see how this share screen thing works. Here we go. How do we do? Share. Now, can you guys see anything on your screens on my side now? Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice photo.
That's a nice background.
Right, where we go?
Russian traffic officer.
Yep. Russian traffic
Golden
officer
ticket.
with golden toilet is arrested after police uncover massive bribery scheme. You would have thought they'd have realised that the fact that his bathroom's gold.
Yeah, I was
Did he
about to
steal that
ask.
from Donald Trump?
Are people bribing him to take a shit in the toilet?
I mean, that's his bathroom right there.
Wow.
That's got. I mean, you've got the gold mirrors, you've got the gold everything there. I mean, why would they not?
Definitely decorated that bathroom.
This is a man's bathroom.
I know that's a man's bathroom. Yeah. What happens if I press play?
It is. It's,
There you go.
It's like the gay version of Tony Montana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Toilets.
Money. Okay.
Yep.
Is this Russian Instagram?
This is Sky News, but I don't know where it probably is Russian Instagram.
Are those golden curtains, like, are they actual gold or are they just colored gold?
I don't know.
I'm
No,
betting they were painted with gold.
So
golden shower.
Were people bribing him to get out of crimes, or
Probably.
I'm sorry, but you spend all that money and all you do is get a gold toilet, some gold curtains, and you just basically
he's
bedazzled your
probably a
freaking
Donald Trump
bathroom.
fan, bro?
Yeah.
Think about it. Who's the only other person that you could think of has a golden toilet?
Trump.
Yep. I was
I was
thinking
gonna say
Trump.
Bill Gates, but nah, it's probably a Zoom toilet or something.
Bill Gates probably has like a
his bathroom has
perfectly clear
windows.
toilet.
Like
Yeah.
every time you sit on the toilet, it plays a song.
He probably has like background music. It's very perfectly clear so that he could examine his feces afterwards. That's some Bill Gates shit. And no, Jose, his bathroom has no windows.
No windows.
His windows fucking sucks.
On the off chance someone gets a really raunchy ass picture of his ass.
Nobody wants a picture of that.
No.
Hey, Martin.
Go on.
Did you know that Titanic was just the story of a girl that got some really good dick on a cruise one day?
So good, she let his ass die.
I mean,
Nobody
it's so
else
good she
having
talks
this
about
after
his old
me.
lady.
Bro, I'm sorry to say, I've had this discussion with my girl, but there was enough room on that door for both of them.
Oh yeah, Mythbusters proved it.
God damn it. You selfish ass.
Man, she knew that they weren't in the same class, so she knew that once they got back, he was gonna go marry somebody else. She was like, "Can't have that happen."
What were you talking about? I'm fine.
Hey there, this is Bobby with the Rock Guys podcast, and you are listening to Marv Smooth on the Pods Like Us podcast. Check him out.
Martin, could you tell us a little bit about how the UK currently views America?
I don't really know. I've not really paid that much attention to what's going on. I mean, what's happening with Biden? I mean, I thought that he was supposed to be a good guy. Now he's supposed to be a bit of an idiot. Is he?
Well,
every president we have just becomes an idiot.
It just depends on like which news source you're talking to.
Yeah.
One of them paints him more of an idiot than others.
Fox.
There's honestly so much dysfunction here in America as far as the way, because everybody's allowed to think whatever they want to think and believe whatever they want to believe.
Yep.
So,
but they're still shitty people.
Yes. So yes, it does unify us. Trust me. Like, I will not remember any day better than the day after 9/11, because 9/11 fucking sucked and it was horrible. But the day after, America came together like no other. It's almost like we're one giant family in the sense that we could fuck with each other and talk shit to one another and fight with one another, but only I could hit my brother.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I think politics right now is just very divisive. You know, I saw a meme the other day, and it had basically like a neutral line, and it had like a neutral person, and on one side you had kind of blue people, which were meant to be the Democrats, and on the other side you had red people with the Republicans, and that neutral character was, you know what, I can see both points, you know, both are valid. And then you see a blue person kind of shoving him towards the red line. And then, you know, red people catch him like, yo, you're okay. And then you have the blue person comment like, oh, why are you siding with them?
Yeah.
You just pushed me.
It's like, you just pushed me. You made me kind of go to that direction. I think you see right now with COVID, you which is kind of a global pandemic. But in the U.S., more than any other country, it became a political issue.
Yeah, and that's insane to me. I mean, the one thing I don't like about current standings in America is simply that we can no longer have a conversation with each other. Everything has become so like absolute. There's no like, let's have a conversation, because I do have friends who consider themselves Republicans or red, right?
Yeah.
But I respect them enough to know that, dude, this is an intelligent person. So I want to know their viewpoints, even though I might not agree with them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to agree with everything you say in order for us to be friends. I don't have to agree with everything you think in order for us to be friends. You are your own individual person. You're allowed to listen, as long as we're hanging out at the lake, riding jet skis, or doing whatever it is that we have in common. Let's not talk about what we don't have in common. There's no reason for us
Excuse
to
me, I gotta
fight.
go to the bathroom. Be right back.
It's become extreme. hasn't it?
Very extreme.
Whereas before, like you said, you could easily just discuss these things between yourselves, whereas now it's awful because
It's very gang-like.
there's a violence to it now which there wasn't before, where if you are of a different opinion to somebody else, it'll suddenly go into this ridiculous thing where you're actually fighting physically with people about these things. And such as the incident that happened in the Capitol building earlier in the year. I mean, that was crazy. That sort of thing going on should not happen.
Well, yeah, that's exactly why I raised the question of how people overseas view us, because it's ridiculous that a country that deems themselves so powerful and so much more forward thinking than everybody else can't have a simple conversation about politics without eventually coming to the conclusion of let's agree to disagree.
Yeah, even over here in the UK, where we had the Black Lives Matter over in the UK as well last year. I mean, that was, to me, that was awful as well, because I've always I've never had a problem like that, and I don't know where that came from. It just happened, and it just seems to be the way around the world now, that there's that extreme politicism that's going on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think even though our podcast is on social media, I'm gonna blame social media. I unfortunately believe that because everybody has access to the internet and can voice their opinion and decide that they want to change the world in some way or fashion.
Yep.
We nitpick at everything. We nitpick at like, oh, this is racist for this reason and such and such. And once that starts to gain traction, it's kind of the snowball effect, right? Once it rolls downhill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's blinding us from actual social issues.
Yeah. And I mean, we're supposed to be working towards making the world eventually into a better place. So we could learn from what's happened in the past, as opposed to moaning about things that have gone in the past and bringing them up like they did with these in the UK with these statues that they've got erected for people and whatever, where they've ripped them down and whatever. Learn from that and try to better who we are in the future, as opposed to thinking about what's happened before. Think about how we can change that to make it better for the future instead.
I completely agree. I think we have things like that here in America, where in the South, there's a lot of like Confederate generals that have statues, and people have been fighting toward bringing them down. I personally think they should stay up, not because I believe that they are people to be marbled after or anything like that, but simply because if the statue's up there, it's a physical reminder of what we did wrong, so that we don't make that mistake again in the future.
What you could do is actually make an amendment to those statues and actually make it up to date, so that you include what's wrong about it as well as, because then you'll learn from that.
Definitely put a placard up there.
Yeah,
and explain what's wrong.
Yeah,
I don't think a statue always represents glory, or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Or like we're looking up to this individual. I think a statue could be something, a statue, a painting, you know, a mural. It could be a constant like shame mark. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, in some cases.
we could, every time you have to look at it because you did something wrong. So therefore, it's there to constantly remind you, like, hey, don't fuck up like this again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, you could also acknowledge, and it'd be a way of saying, yep, okay, they did these things which were good, but the guy in another way was still a bastard.
Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that cop in that news article was crazy. I know we spun away from that.
Wow, turned it all the way back around.
Great job.
But I think the news services as well. I think they're maneuvering things to make these things happen, so that then they're creating news by making people respond the way that they do, by putting it out the way that they put it out in the news.
Yes, that's why I personally I rarely watch TV news now. I mostly read news articles, simply because I've realized that, or I've noticed, I haven't realized because I have no way of proving it, but I've noticed that a lot of the stuff on TV as far as the news goes has come down to what can we put up there to rile people up, to then go cover the rile up and further rile people up.
Absolutely.
I think if a lot of people stop watching TV and maybe read news articles where the news article is written by one specific person, so you could hold that one specific person accountable for what they write, because it's a lot more clear cut. Because the person writing it understands, like, if I write anything other than the facts, then my name's on this. But somebody reporting the news will be like, well, I just read a fucking prompter and I don't know what's on there until I fucking read it.
Yeah. Plus what's on the news program as well is bullet points. So they've only got a set amount of time to fit that news item into. And that's all the information that you get. Whereas if you're reading it online or in a newspaper, it's more, you get a fuller story. But even then with the newspapers, even they can be politically aligned one way or the other, and they can be doing that as well in some cases.
That is the one thing I do like. That's the reason why I don't really watch the news anymore. Like, I stopped watching the news a long time ago, because every time like I go and watch something, I Google the same article they're talking about and you get more information. And now it gets to the point where it feels like you guys are lying about some shit.
Yeah.
You're only pointing towards the stuff that would make people more outraged about it. Because when you hear people
on either extreme.
When you hear people talk about it, there are huge amounts of information that they're missing in those arguments.
And then the titles are all, you know, clickbait. So what's the most controversial, riled up title you can think of? And that's what it's gonna be.
I mean, what's more clickbaity than Dog the Bounty Hunter is now looking for Gabby Petito's boyfriend? Of course I want to read that. Come on.
Hey, this is Jack from Bad Counsel. You want some good counsel? Keep listening to my man Marv, Pods Like Us.
You know what's another kind of interesting thing that I found kind of doing this podcast with you guys? We're like especially for you and Julio, Rick, like us three were all in the Bay Area, and yet some of the articles you guys put in the weekly script, I never came across it. Like I wouldn't have like read it or found it if you guys didn't put it in the script. And I think that's amazing because we all live in the same area and yet we're exposed to different bits of news.
In fairness, a lot of my stuff comes from the New York Post.
Okay.
Sure. Most of my stuff comes from TikTok.
Mine's Google News.
And Twitter. I watch a lot of, I do spend a lot of time on Twitter. So Google Post, New York Post, Twitter, sometimes the Google News feed.
MSN.
I don't spend too much time on MSN or MSNBC. I try to avoid CNN unless it comes up on the feed, simply because MSN or BBC, CNN, they're very far left. And it's the same situation. We're trying to find a Fox News article. So unless I could find the same situation on both sides, so like a Fox News article and a CNN or MSN article that I could mesh together, I try to avoid said stories, because it goes back to what we were talking about, where most news situations are talking about, like, they're trying to push your viewpoint in one direction or the other.
It's like I was saying to Gil when I was on Gil's show the other week. I said to Gil that I was listening to Matt DeSantis. He does a show called From the Swamp to the Swamp, and he was talking about this issue where in their news they were saying so many hundred thousands of people were still catching COVID even though they'd had the jab, and Matt was saying that he said another way to look at that, he said, which the news companies the news services aren't telling, is that is just in that area that they're talking, that is 0.3% of the population of that state. He said, so a better way that they could have done it was to say 99.7% of the population are getting the jabs but not getting it. He said, so it's the way that you actually put it across.
They could explain to you how jabs actually work, right? Like, if you were to get the flu shot, for example, you could still get the flu, you just wouldn't get as sick as if you didn't have it. The same way where, like, if you got the chickenpox vaccine, you could still be a carrier for an extended period of time. Like for a period of time, you could be a carrier. You personally just wouldn't have any symptoms from it.
Yeah, like I recently was tested positive for COVID. I'm vaccinated. Had no symptoms whatsoever. But my girl, who isn't vaccinated, she had the symptoms.
How's she doing, by the way? She good?
Yeah, they're putting the details across the wrong way, though, aren't they? They're sort of like explaining to people of it being like a wonder drug, or this vaccine will blah blah blah. But they should really explain to people better the actual truth about it and say, look, like you said, you can still get it to a certain degree. All it does is it just makes it, in a lot of cases, not all cases, in a lot of cases, it makes it easier.
And there isn't a single vaccine that is 100% guaranteed to keep you from getting a virus. Not one. No. And that's something people don't seem to understand. Like, in fact, every other vaccine, people have pretty much acted almost the same way. So I don't know why it's any different now. Like, you guys are saying, like, I'm not taking the vaccine because I don't know what's in it. Like, what about all those damn vaccines you took as a kid?
You take Advil, right? Do you know what's in
that?
Yep. You go abroad and you get an hepatitis jab. You don't know what's in there.
Nope.
That's the crazy part to me, because most people don't even understand that the reason why they ask you if you're allergic to anything prior to this vaccine. So this vaccine is the first ever vaccine produced with the CRISPR program, right? Where they can actually genetically make it so that you produce only a specific part of the virus.
Yep.
Prior to that, all other vaccines had to be incubated in eggs, right? Yep. So that's why they ask you a lot of the time if you're allergic to egg or anything like that, like what you're allergic to prior to giving you the vaccine, so that they know what symptoms to look for after. That's why they keep you 15 minutes afterwards. And that was prior to this vaccine. Is everything had to be incubated in an egg, but this vaccine was rushed because they have this new CRISPR program. I mean, it's not new, it's been around for a long time, but it's the first time they actually used it to mass produce a vaccine. And that's why it was put out to the public so quickly. And most people have a lot of questions about that, and they don't trust it. I know us as people of color, we don't trust it because of past history where the government has told us it's one thing, but it turned out to be something else. But back then, I don't know. Scientifically speaking, I don't think that there isn't a question or a worry that anybody could have about the vaccine that can't be answered. And if you trust the science for certain things, as far as like Advil, if you broke a bone, if you're having surgery, anything like that, if you trust the science for that, I don't see the logic behind not trusting the science for this.
Now, you brought up another point that I heard in a news on the radio about, where somebody said something, and I thought it really angered me, because they were saying that the vaccine, or certain people of certain color or whatever, are more prone to getting it or something. And I thought, how can you say that? That's an awful thing to say.
Well, as far as getting the vaccine or getting COVID?
Getting COVID.
I'll be back, guys.
Okay. So the reason behind that is, like I was saying, so back in the days, there was I believe was it hepatitis?
Yeah.
Marcus? No. What was the Tuskegee trials? No, the Tuskegee experiments. Syphilis. So back in the days, a lot of people, the government was going around in Tuskegee and telling people that they were getting treated for a specific
bad blood.
Yeah. And instead they were actually being injected with syphilis. And the government was using them as an experiment to try and figure out what syphilis did to the human body over an extended period of time.
Yeah.
People got paid out for this. The government, had to come out and come clean about it. But at least in America, that's why we don't trust the government as much as we should. Or I shouldn't even say it that way, because it sounds horrible, because technically you should question everything. And that's why I understand that side of the argument, where it's like, well, I need more information. I personally myself have gotten the vaccine. I just think that we have moved past that. People have gotten paid, and I understand that there is no amount of money on this planet that could replace a loved one. But I don't think that the government would put out a vaccine this day during a global pandemic. We did something similar back in the days during the Spanish flu situation. People still wore masks, people got a vaccine. But yes, in areas where people of color tend to reside, they're more likely to catch it, because people are a lot more skeptical of it.
Okay. Right. Yeah, because the way that they were putting it,
I'm not just a degenerate drunk that likes to gamble. I have some
Yeah, I got other qualities.
It just irritated me. Thank you for that, Ricky. That's great. Now that I know that, because it irritated me, because they just said that, and then they didn't go in and explain why they were saying that, and it just riled me. It just irritated me that they just made this blanket comment without any background to it.
Definitely.
It's just like when those people who are now using Rosa Parks.
What do you mean, those people?
You know exactly what the hell I mean. Those jackasses saying that Rosa Parks said no, and that should be evidence enough for this vaccine. First of all, she was not protesting any vaccine. She refused to give up her seat so a white man can sit down. That's all. Don't sit up here and use what this woman fought and damn near died for.
Wait,
justify your stupidity.
What?
I've not heard that one.
Yeah,
neither.
You ever heard? Really?
No.
All right. So on TikTok, there was a viral video where this woman legit said Rosa Parks said no, and that should be enough to let you know about this vaccine. And then walk the hell off the screen. If I can find the video, and I know I got it somewhere in my videos, I'll send it to you guys. But I swear to God, in fact, that teacher that got suspended for showing up to school in blackface, that was why. He said he was protesting like that of Rosa Parks. Dude, Rosa Parks didn't show up on a bus in whiteface. God damn it. Like the way you idiots are justifying your protest is fucking ridiculous.
Hate it when they use important things like that, and they try to use them nowadays for something that's got nothing at all to do with the original act.
Muhammad Ali said no to the war, so I'm gonna say no to work.
Yep, I heard that one too.
If you guys ask me a yes or no question via text and I reply with Rosa Parks, you know my answer.
Dude, God damn it.
G'day. This is Matty C from the Astros Fantasy Football Podcast, way down in Australia. And we love getting to listen to Marv meet new podcasters from all over the world here on the Pods Like Us podcast.
Oh, yeah, and anti-maskers, like a couple of weeks back, you know, anti-maskers are saying you're violating my human rights or my religious rights or something stupid like that. So remember, I showed y'all that I told y'all that scripture from friggin' Leviticus talking about face masks.
Yeah,
face masks are in the Bible.
Yes,
they are.
Yeah.
So if you idiots want to try and say some stupid shit like that, I got some proof for you.
That's insane. Speaking of religious privilege, right, or religious exemption, have you guys been following the Andrew Wiggins situation?
Andrew Wiggins?
No.
Oh my God, are you a Warriors
NBA
fan?
player?
You don't know who? Yes.
What
So
the
Andrew
heck?
Wiggins is not vaccinated, and he said in an interview a while back that he wouldn't get the vaccination unless he was forced to get the vaccination, and he's still currently unvaccinated, even though the city of San Francisco has mandated that anybody working in the city of San Francisco has to get a vaccine if they're in an environment where there's over 1,000 people gathered together.
So basically, he just lied.
No, he refused to get it. He said, well, he hasn't gotten, yeah, he basically lied because he hasn't gotten it. And the NBA recently refused to give him religious exemption. And,
Because it's not in the Bible.
well,
That
no,
says you
well,
can't wear.
there's that, but like, no, it's about him getting a vaccine. Like, you have to be vaccinated to work in the city of San Francisco.
What's
And
he gonna do? Go Muslim?
well, my question is, why wouldn't you get the vaccine? It's simply as far as like, it's not about yourself, it's about being a team player, right? Like everybody else on the team got the vaccine.
I think he believes that if he gets it, he's gonna die.
Yeah, but he's gotten a whole bunch of other shit. Like he's gotten cortisone shots. He's obviously been treated by the team doctor.
Yeah, just about any NBA player who's played in the Olympics and gone overseas has to have gotten shots in order to enter said country, right?
Yep.
They're still
Yes.
alive.
And he represented Canada in the Olympics this last Olympics. So I don't understand the argument.
Yeah, you goofball. Oh, let me guess, because this is a new vaccine. I only take old vaccines. Stupid argument.
I think Joe Rogan should have kept his mouth shut about what he did as well.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Yes.
Agreed.
This
It's-
dude
it's
rounded
crazy
off
to me.
every alternative treatment.
Yep.
And did you see him? He looked like someone beat him in the face with a wooden stick.
He should have just put up with the symptoms for however long they lasted, and then
Yeah,
got
and
back
then
to
gone
living.
with no treatment. And
Yep.
got with no treatment. He should have gone with no treatment and documented everything.
Yep.
Second by second, and then let his fucking viewers make their own decision about how it affected him.
You know, but he caught the disease and he freaked just like most other people freaked, and he decided
Be
to
right
take
back.
all these offhand friggin' vaccines or methods. Like the horse dewormer. And then you got these idiots gargling iodine now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Like you guys are literally doing what you say the vaccine is doing to you with other methods.
Yeah.
But the adverse effects are 10 times worse than what you'll probably get from the damn vaccine.
Yeah. Go that step further, it's like Trump telling everybody to drink bleach.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
And then he said it was a joke.
That was, dude. And he said it was a joke, but you know damn well people took him at his word when he said it.
Yeah. And it was probably a joke after he was doing damage control.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true. Yeah.
like even kids at some point were like, "Yeah, probably shouldn't drink this."
You just know that one of his aides, after he's come out with that, is almost, not really, but verbally bitch slapped him and said, "Dude, you got to sort this shit out."
Yep.
I bet he was sitting there whispering while he said it. He probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Or that. Can we get him off the mic, please?
He must have an entire team of people who are watching video footage of him, on news items, and they must be there with a little notebook going, writing down every time they've got to make up for something and correct something that bloody orange guy's bloody come out with again.
Yeah. It's like, which fuck up do we start with?
Yeah.
God damn it, Chester. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, now that all three of you are here, so what other shows do you all listen to? Ricky?
Oh, you asked the wrong person. I listen to a lot of sports talk. As you can tell by the conversation, I listen to a lot of sports talk radio here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we've been blessed with having amazing teams. I mean, as far as the baseball goes, we have the A's and the Giants. So there's always something to talk about as far as baseball goes.
Yep.
The Niners are here. It's always fun to listen to people banter about how they don't talk about the Raiders as much on the radio here anymore as they used to, which was slim
here anymore
prior to that, but they're not here anymore. And then we have the Warriors. So therefore, like, there's always something to talk about as far as sports goes. Podcast wise, I'm not gonna lie, I mostly listen to us.
Yep.
Just simply to try to give us feedback on how we could better improve. Some of us in the group take the feedback better than others. But I'm not gonna stop doing it. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't like what I'm criticizing on, eat a dick.
Jose?
I think for me, podcasting wise, for the true crime segment, I listen to a podcast called Cuantos Crimen podcast. They're another kind of Bay Area podcast run by with two women that kind of focus on not so media covered true crime stories. Then other podcasts, Bad Counsel, they're kind of my go-to comedy. They, great banter as well on their show. The Mind Buzz. I think after being on his show and seeing some of his guests, I think his title of King of Podcasts collabs is well earned because he networks with pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And then recently we had a guest that just like had an amazing banter, the Just Be Show. So I started listening to him. Super funny guy as well.
Yep, I enjoyed that show with Just Be very much. What about Marcus? What do you listen to?
All right, so I listened to the Joe Stone Church podcast. I found him on TikTok.
You old Christian.
Mind Buzz, a couple of episodes. This guy I follow on TikTok started his podcast. His name is King Lion, or King and Queen Lion. That's about it for the most part. I mean, other than searching for like articles and shit on TikTok, I don't really listen to many podcasts as much as I'd like to because I don't have as much time.
Yeah, there's definitely a time problem. Well, problem with finding time to listen to them all because there's so many of them out there. As a bit of a tangent here, have you actually thought of getting involved with the Bad Counsel guys yourselves?
Not this season, just because we're booked, but maybe in season 4, because we're talking about season 3 kind of being no collabs and just kind of being the 4 of us. But I think that would be pretty dope.
That would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, I could just imagine a crossover of all 4 of you with all 4 of them.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. Where are they from?
Aren't they from down Florida way for the most part? I know that's where Greg and Katie are Florida.
They're from the South.
Awesome. So we could definitely that would be an awesome collab. Simply
you'd have the East and the West covered, and all the way across.
Like pre-recording, we could come to the agreement that we talk shit to each other for being Southerners and then being West Coasters.
Yeah.
And all in good fun though. Like honestly, all in good fun. Because honestly, like live wherever you want to live. Live wherever makes you happy and has you living a comfortable life. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't necessarily have to agree with me all the time, which I doubt that most people do. But I just think that a lot of people take themselves way too serious. Like, take yourself serious as far as what you want to do in life and the goals that you want to make and reach, and the lifestyle that you want to live. But don't take life too serious, because nobody gets out alive.
You'd like Tales of Two Blue Collar Workers as well. I don't know if you've heard that one before.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's fun. That's a laugh a minute show, and they look into different subjects, news items that they find on the internet as well, and that's hilarious. Enjoy that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think like Marcus says, it just comes down to like having time to listen to all these other great podcasts. Because on our IG page, I constantly get other podcasts kind of showing love and liking our posts. I say I'm going to listen to them eventually, but just find the time.
True.
I'm Agent Scott.
And I'm Cam the Provocateur.
And we're from the Spy Hards Movie Podcast.
That's right. And you are listening to Pods Like Us, the podcast that has a license to thrill.
So what advice would you give to people if they were starting their own podcast now?
Right. I'd say know exactly what it is you want your podcast to be about and focus on that. Don't try to be perfect right out the gate. You don't need all the fancy equipment. You can just use your phone and then, upgrade over time.
Shit, I'm using my phone right now.
Same.
Cool.
Right. And I would also not focus too much on the views or trying to get, an audience really quick. Just build that audience and just go at your own pace. There is no right or wrong way of how to start a podcast, really. Like, you just start and just keep on going. Although staying consistent is one thing that a lot of people preach. Like, don't be sporadic. Like, you post Tuesday, then you post Friday, then you post Wednesday. Like, pick a set day and try to stay on that same day.
Yeah, I mean, you will sometimes have problems. Internet problems internet will go down or whatever, which will cause a problem with that. But other than that, try to keep that consistency. That if you say your episode's coming out on a Sunday or in the midweek, try to keep to that as best that you can.
Yeah, and if you can't, put a post out, letting people know what's going on.
Yeah.
I personally would say, as far as podcasting goes, do something that you love. Podcast about something that you love. It'll definitely bring out your natural personality. Make sure that it's fun for you. Don't, like Marcus said, don't worry about the likes. Focus on being yourself in front of a camera. And the minute that it's no longer fun to you or enjoyable, like if you're not enjoying recording yourself on camera anymore and talking about your thoughts and your ideas, your viewpoints, then stop doing it. But pick something that you really like. Pick something that you're gonna, even if it's a group situation, like pick something that you all can associate with. If it's by yourself, pick something that you're very enthusiastic about and talk about that, because at the end of the day, that's what's gonna shine through the audio, the video, whatever it is that you're doing. Otherwise, like if you're not doing this for enjoyment for yourself, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we had a guest, the Spivey special, where they said they are their target audience. They record for themselves. So definitely pick something that you're passionate about and won't get bored talking about. Also, don't be afraid to kind of change up your format. Keep things interesting for you. And if you try something that's not working, you can give up and try something new. And then as far as like promoting your podcast on social media, we found that Instagram and TikTok seem to be where we get the most following. Twitter and Facebook, I think are nice to have, but probably don't put too much energy on trying to build that audience.
Yeah, because they already have their own like set categories and stats, and it's just heavily saturated. So it's kind of hard for new people to get, an edge in those areas. Doesn't mean don't try though.
We're waiting for that next massive social media bubble to go so that we could jump on that early, possibly gain a lot more followers that way.
Right.
Yeah, it must be about time now because you had MySpace, then you had Twitter, then you had Facebook. So there must be the next, and then you had Instagram. The next one must be somewhere around the corner.
We had Instagram, then we had Snapchat.
Oh yeah.
Well, technically we had Instagram, then we had Snapchat, then we had Vine, but then Vine kind of fizzled out because Instagram started allowing stories.
Yeah.
And that goes back to Instagram is owned by Facebook, and Facebook offered Vine money for their platform, and Vine said, "No, we're good." So then Instagram started allowing stories on their videos on their platform, not stories, videos on their platform.
Yeah.
And it kind of, made Vine go the way of the fucking horse and carriage. And whatchamacallit, now we have TikTok, which is basically Vine revived.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised
So
if it's the same
maybe
people behind it.
Yeah, I would say there's about a year from now, 6 months to a year, there will be a new platform. And I think anybody that's trying to get their podcast really off the ground or try to get that boost, that push going, should be looking out for it, because 6 months to a year from now, I believe there's a new generation coming to age of where they could surf the internet, and they're going to want their own platform in which to socialize with.
I would say that Instagram is the one at the moment, the big one for podcasters, because so if you do start a podcast.
Way to go, Jose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I got the biggest platform right now.
But as a podcaster, you start making friends with other podcasters on Instagram. There seems to be like this community of people that have got your back, basically, on there, that are making other shows, and they'll push your show on your behalf as well. There seems to just be that thing of you all helping each other as well, which is great. And that seems to be a thing on Instagram more than on any other platform.
Yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, if I see a podcast follows our account, it's an automatic follow back from them, just kind of, podcast supporting podcasters. And I think it's dope when they just shout you out on a story, kind of say, like, go follow them, go subscribe.
Another cool thing is when you get a shout out on their show as well.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
true.
That, when you listen to their show and you'll hear them shout you out and they'll mention something that you've had on your own show or subject. That's cool.
Don't worry, Barn. We got you on the next show.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying it for that reason.
Marv, I would be curious how many shout outs we got for this episode, because I think we named up quite a few other podcasts on here.
It's become a thing now. Every time I record an episode, there'll be that many shout outs to other shows. It's
Gil better hit us up.
It's a community.
What I should do is get all these clips of these shout outs and just do a long advertisement for all of these shows in one thing.
Yeah.
During this show, we've mentioned,
Martin,
and then
you got to make a montage with 80s music in the background.
You're the best, the best a man can get. And then in the middle, have the woman slow motion running across the beach.
You show people's logos.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Africa from Toto.
African Child. You got to play African Child in the background while doing the montage of the shout out.
So where can people find you and get in touch with you?
So pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. It's usually the Inner Monolog podcast or Inner Monolog 510. That's where you can usually find our handle. We're pretty much on all podcast platforms, so Overcast, Google, Apple Podcast, and all of that.
I'm going to sound stupid probably saying this, but where does the 510 come from?
That's the Bay Area area code.
Right. Okay.
What's it?
Anyway.
What do you call an area code in the UK? Is it just an area code?
A region?
Like it's essentially it's a prefix to the phone number.
It's just I don't know, just a code. Yeah, we have area codes as well, I suppose, on phone numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same.
this is why I said I was gonna sound really stupid asking.
No. No, it's not stupid at all. No, it's a good question.
No, it's not.
I just didn't know what you guys called them. I thought you guys would be fancy, like this is our region code.
Providence code.
I like that one, the Providence code.
That's cool. Like that. So anyway, guys, thanks for chatting with me today.
Thanks for
thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
And if anybody wants to, they can find Pods Like Us on all the social networks, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter now. Just look for Pods Like Us on there, and that's what we're down as. And you can look at themarvzone.org, and there's all details of all the shows and everything, that interests me on there. And I put reviews up on there and stuff as well, when I can be bothered and find the time. So thanks very much, and hope you listen again to another episode of Pods Like Us.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you too.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Marvin.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Still kind of waking up, but I think 5 minutes in, I should be good.
Good.
And I think Ricky and Marcus should be joining shortly.
I can see Ricky. I'm waking up as well.
And Julio can't join us today. I guess he had to work early.
That's a shame. That's awful.
I know. He's got a lot of stories that we get to talk about.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Yep.
All right, awesome. I don't know. I
right.
don't know why the audio was off.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep. Good morning, Marcus.
What's good? I don't want to see.
Jose, best team in baseball, huh?
Oh, yep.
There we go.
Representing, I see.
Oh yeah, you saw they broke the home run record like yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible considering that that's the season Bonds has
I
the
got
whole
a special
time
hoodie
single
for that.
season. Yeah. There you go.
That was insane, bro. So I was watching the game yesterday, and Belt ties the record, and then the bat up after that on the fifth inning. No, two bats up after that on the fifth inning does the exact same thing, damn near the exact same location and everything.
This Giants team is super balanced.
Dude, it's crazy. And then I don't know if you saw, they did an interview where they asked Belt if this is the best Giants team he's ever been on, and he said yeah. And they were like, for real, really, like any better than even the ones that won the chip. And then he was like, yeah, because there's no assholes on this team.
Goddamn.
How y'all doing today?
Awesome.
Woke up being a degenerate. I'm already looking at the betting lines for today's game.
Damn, bro.
Man, I didn't need an alarm to wake up. I knew it was going to happen, but I still set my alarm for 5:50 a.m. And Vanessa wakes us up at 5:20 a.m. So she's like, Dad, I got you. Don't worry about that alarm.
He's like, good morning, Dad.
Yeah.
Pick your ass up.
Nah, I put game on. I'm put money on the Bears game today because even though Deidre's a giant Niner fan, she started cheering for the Bears because the Raiders traded Khalil Mack there, and she thought it was such a stupid trade. That she was just like, I'm just gonna cheer for them. So I put some money on that, and I'm looking at the lines for the Niners game because the Giants game lines don't come out until shortly after the rosters are announced. And the Giants hold off till like the last fucking possible second. I thought Julio was gonna be in this.
He said he'd try from work. If it was
From work,
possible.
really?
Wow.
Damn, I should have included him on the script then.
Yeah, we all knew he basically wasn't going to show. So every time he says he'll try, it's a lie. It's like when your parents tell you we'll see when you ask if we can go to McDonald's or get some ice cream or some shit. You know damn well that's a no.
I know, but with Julio and his wanting his opportunity to perform, you'd think that he'd jump at the chance.
Good point.
Yeah. You guys should go on the Astro League podcast. Have you listened to that?
Astro League?
I have not. We're in the same IG group, podcast group, but I haven't listened to his episode yet.
That is so cool. An Australian podcast about American football, fantasy American football leagues.
But
from Australia.
I thought it was an Australian podcast about how much Julio likes to perform.
That'd be something.
That's going in the after show.
We'll have to check them out.
So, stupid question.
Yeah.
Are you guys normally up at this time then, or not?
No,
I mean,
yes, I am. I'm actually up usually about 3 hours before this.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I've had it with Tim before from Bad Counsel, and he'll say, "Oh, I'm always up at this time or whatever," because he works at school. Tim, doesn't he, from Bad Counsel? So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I drive a truck cleaning out porta potties.
All right.
So I have to be at work by 4:20. So I'm usually up at 3:20 in the morning, getting my coffee going and stuff.
Yeah, we have 20 minutes after this.
And being a degenerate online, picking out betting lines for the games that day.
You got to get up early before the shit starts, Rick.
Yep.
Jose, you got no choice.
No, with little kids, I'm up when they're up. So normally it's before 6 a.m.
Sure, those porta potties will wake him up if he wasn't awake already.
Yeah, I always think about Jose when I'm listening, because at 5 a.m. in the morning, one of the sports radio stations out here, when it first starts, there's music, and then the guy, for 15 seconds, yells, "What's good?" And I was like, I bet that's how Jose's kids wake him up.
Yeah, with a foot on my face.
Oh man. I'll admit I do miss them days.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. I'm getting static on this end when you asked the question. Was that just me?
We lost you midway, Marv. You said some of the Chicago Lieutenant.
Yeah.
I think the Chicago
So I
Bully.
didn't see the video because I listened to the show. I don't watch it. So did the flashlight actually? Did he really shove it right up there?
So he didn't shove it in his ass. He just shoved it between his butt cheeks.
Right. I was going to say that'd be bloody painful. That would.
Yeah, no, he laid it in between his cheeks like a hot dog.
He bunned him.
He bunned him.
So would that be mustard and ketchup in there as well?
You know what? Maybe.
Yeah.
With a splash of relish on top.
Little horse relish. Kissed him in the back of the neck while he did it.
Nice little onion hole in there.
And I love that one about the schoolgirl who got the A+ for that short story. What was it? That was fucking awesome.
I lost my shit when I found that joke. You know how many times I had to rewrite it because I kept laughing and fucking up the keys?
And those little Johnny jokes as well that you come up with.
Oh yeah, little Johnny's always getting into trouble.
Yeah, he really is a little bastard. Shit, I thought Dennis the Menace was worse.
No, Marcus, is there a little Johnny joke page?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's famous.
They got a bunch of them actually. So every now and again, I'll just pull one or two jokes from there that I think are gonna be good.
Nice.
You need to come up with a book to sell, Inner Monolog, with all the stories that you do and all the jokes.
That'd be a good idea.
That's an idea.
Thank God we saved all the damn scripts.
Right?
We've got a folder somewhere in the back or something with all the scripts in.
Yep. Just here you go, people.
Same here. Mine's just over there. All the past scripts and notes all over there.
Nice. I'll admit, I didn't know why the hell I was saving the scripts, but now I realize, yeah, that was a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. Even if you're not, it's like memories, isn't it really, I suppose? It's all cool. Right, get into this.
While doing the montage of the shout outs.
Oh well, shit! I got 19 minutes to get to work, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, y'all.
It's all right. We've only got two more things very quickly. It's just the where to find you in the outro now. So where can people find you and get in touch with you? So was that okay, guys?
Was all
perfect. Great.
That's
Great.
cool.
Thanks again. It was awesome.
Awesome. I'll let you all get on because you're going to work in a bit, Marcus, and I'm at work in an hour as well.
Hey, awesome. I get to watch football the rest of the day.
Sweet. Later, guys.
Sweet. Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right, guys. Take care.